When a new bathroom starts looking old, most people blame the tiles. But the vast majority of tile complaints in Indian homes have absolutely nothing to do with the quality of the ceramic or porcelain itself. The actual problem usually hides right at the transition points. Look at the raw, exposed edges where the tiling ends, leaving a jagged, chipped edge. Leaving this cut edge exposed is the reason a 2 lakh rupee bathroom renovation degrades to look like a 60,000 rupee compromise within months. Raw cuts act like sponges. They collect ambient moisture, allowing water to slowly creep behind the walls. Once the backing is compromised, the exposed tile edge starts to chip away from basic daily contact. The fix for this is a specific piece of trim called a bullnose tile. It seals the cut edge, but most buyers only learn it exists after the permanent damage has already set in. A durable tile job is never defined by the expensive field tiles in the center of the wall. It is defined entirely by how the exposed edges are protected. We can see this exact dynamic play out at scale in a recent mid-range apartment project in a Tier 2 Gujarat city. This blueprint shows their standard bathroom layout, focusing on the shower entries and wall niches. In Phase 1 of the build, the developer used standard wall tiles but left the edges raw. Within a single year, buyers flooded the builder with complaints about chipped corners and visible seepage. For Phase 2, the developer kept the exact same tile budget, but made one adjustment. They added matching bullnose tiles to every exposed edge. This graph tracks the results. Following that single change, customer complaints took a cliff dive drop to near zero, and Phase 2 buyers consistently rated their bathrooms as a premium finish. The Gujarat results prove that a bullnose edge is a functional requirement in wet areas. It seals the transition point, turning a vulnerable raw cut into a protected surface that can withstand daily moisture. Securing that protection requires selecting the right profile for the specific physical geometry of your room. This diagram illustrates the half bullnose profile. Notice how one long edge curves downward to create a smooth drop-off. You use this where only a single tile edge is exposed to the room, like the side of a kitchen backsplash or a windowsill. When you have outside 90-degree corners, such as a shower niche, you need the full or double bullnose. Here, 2 adjacent edges round off to form a safe, blunt corner. For parallel exposures, like outdoor pool coping or open stair steps, the profile shifts to a double radius, rounding both opposite sides to create a pill-like top edge. Finally, there is the cove base. This sweeping, concave curve sits at the floor and wall junction to physically stop dirt and water from pooling in sharp corners. Matching the exact curvature of the tile to the physical angle of the wall dictates whether that joint will survive daily impact. Getting the shape right is only half the process. A flawless edge requires strict upfront procurement planning. The first rule is dimensional. The bullnose tile's physical thickness must exactly match your main field tile down to the millimeter. This cross-section compares a flush 10 mm match against a mismatched 10 to 11 mm joint. That tiny difference creates a protruding lip, and once the adhesive sets, no installer can hide it. To prevent this, you must select and verify your edge finishes concurrently with your main tiles. You cannot leave trims as an ad hoc, last-minute purchase. The second rule is chemical. You have to order the bullnose trims from the exact same factory production batch as your main tiles. Ceramic glazes vary slightly between runs. Batch matching prevents visible color banding along your edges, but it requires you to order 5 to 10% extra upfront, holding the spares in storage so you have perfectly matched replacements for future repairs. If you fail to match the thickness or the production batch, you completely negate the protective and visual benefits of buying the bullnose in the first place. Even with perfectly matched tiles, there is one final, invisible point of failure: the jointing compound between the materials at a change of plane. A common site error happens when workers pack standard, rigid grout into 90-degree inside corners and wall joints. Buildings naturally shift and settle. Rigid grout cannot handle that structural stress, leading to immediate fracturing and cracking along the joint. The mandatory fix is to substitute grout with 100% silicone sealant at all changes of plane, like where the tile meets the tub or another wall. Silicone remains completely flexible. It absorbs those micro movements while maintaining an impenetrable, watertight seal.
The trade-off is that high-quality silicone costs noticeably more than standard grout, and applying it neatly requires a steady-handed, highly skilled installer. The most carefully sourced Bullnose tile will still suffer water damage behind the wall if it is sealed with the wrong compound. With these requirements, is a ceramic Bullnose tile the correct choice for every architectural scenario? Mess Edge Selection Matrix maps the right finishing tool to the right environment. If the area is a bathroom, shower, or outdoor step, prioritize safety with the Bullnose tile. If you are using large format slabs or designing a minimalist space, opt for metal trim profiles to achieve clean lines. If you are designing a showpiece accent wall away from physical impact, utilize a mitered edge for a seamless aesthetic, keeping in mind the sharp tip remains fragile. Choosing an edge finish is a functional decision. You have to match the physical limitations of the material to the daily traffic of the room. To ensure your edge treatments are executed correctly, you need a strict pre-order framework. This checklist outlines the 4 exact requirements before purchasing. Take a screenshot for your site visits. Select the specific profile, verify the thickness matches, source the exact same batch, and specify silicone for joints. Apply this list on the exact same day you purchase your main tiles. Edge treatments cannot be an afterthought. This trim material makes up a tiny percentage of your overall budget, but it decides whether your installation lasts a decade or degrades in months. For more deep dive, practical interior frameworks that protect your renovation budget, subscribe to Insight Anchor.